See you on YouTube. There we go. You happy now? You happy now, Jamal? We did that for you, brother. Oh, a bit late now. I cannot believe that that has not gone into that FOC. You assholes. So that door is still wide open for me on that high. So there you go. So there's your London fair value. So for me, for higher prices, first POI would be this BISI on the low. I'm not going to be trading out here for me personally. It's going to sit and wait. So as you remember, what I'd like to see is them holders going into the open. With this objective still left open, that's what I'd like to see. We fulfilled it on ES, but we haven't on NQ. So where do we gap yesterday? All the way down here. Where are we now? Currently at what? 2712. So your previous day's RTH range. Yeah, so that's down at 700. The upper quad. $697. Oh, I'm gonna make these. I'm gonna make them. Make them orange. I swear I'm going blind. I can't see things that clearly on the charts these days. Yeah, so it's going to be bang slap at 50%, the upper quad on the previous day's RTH range. Question you're asking yourself is, we got a breaker inside that? We got a mitt inside that? currently what we're rejecting now. That so this MIT inside of the RTH can bounce from here. I'm personally staying patient. So that's all the way back down into a London discount. So for those who have read the daily plan this morning, my target for a short was 780. So we didn't quite fulfill that objective. And I don't chase price. So if I'm a turtle suit trader, so I trade the very, very swing high. If it doesn't give it to me, I'm not going to start pushing a short if it hasn't fulfilled my objective. I only do that if it fulfills my objective, which it hasn't. Potential H1 to M5. So essentially that BISI, your stop would have to go below the candle low. There's the 15, take out, be revisiting the 15-minute high, so paying yourself in the 15 prem. It's just not ideally where I'd want to be. I want to be underneath this if I'm going long. Bum, bum, ba-dum. That is just not giving me my entry. Yeah, there's nothing here which is like screaming out to me at the moment. You've just got this old 15 to 1, but you've already delivered to the high. So this was the entry from this morning, right? So if you were if you followed my short from this morning. So my trade this morning was shorting this, right? So inside of S&D profile, the 1 minute SIBI inside of a discount of this 15-minute DR, right? Up at 62%, taking it back down into a premium, holding my final runner into this BISI that was left open, right? Looking to them wanting to flip long. However, so I basically paid myself in here and it took my runners out, which left the door open on this BISI on the low, which is essentially a 15-to-1 model. But ideally I want to be short versus trying to bounce. But 15-to-1 is essentially going to take out the 5. So get yourself back into a 5-minute premium, which is going to take you all the way back up into the higher. So if this low holds, 15-to-1, that BISI stop below the BISI low, which is essentially down at 640. So right in there, but your stop has to go below 640 for taking its 15-point stop. So you'd have to pay yourself inside of a essentially a 5-minute prem. So you're gonna pay yourself inside of here, hold runners. Got to be careful of this H1 to M5. This can now act as resistance if price is super heavy, right? Old H1s to M5s can act as resistance. So if you are long off the level from the daily plan, you have to scale out. So right here, if you are in on that, you have to scale out here, right? This old H1 to M5 can now act as resistance for continuation. So you want to pay yourself inside of here. Next trim is going to be inside of a prem, and then you're probably going to have to wait for the open in order to come and drive up and to take out the 5-minute high. So make sure you're paying yourself here if you took it. It's 20 points. Whole runners take out this 1-minute DR, right? All the way back down at our higher time frame X level. Trading a 15-to-1 model. You have to pay yourself where it can fail, right? Ideally, we want to be short, but it hasn't fulfilled the objective on the high. However, there's nothing stopping it. It can do it where it just fails the entry by 6 points. It does happen now and again, right? So you just have to be mindful of that. I still want to see this high go personally. So the trade would support the idea of price running out this high. However, if it is going to just continue, it's going to break from here. You want to see it punch through this if you're long. There you go. Good stuff. Well done, John. Happy days. Patience. 1 ES contract in at the low. Up to 680. Beautiful. What more do you want? Good stuff. Nice. Just wait. Just stay patient. Just wait for a higher time frame X level. Align it with a model. Have reasons for why the low is not going to go. Have context for your high. Take the trade and execute. If it fails, okay, move to the sidelines. Rinse, repeat. So upside of here, there's no short for me. It hasn't fulfilled an objective. Okay, wait for an opportunity to trade when price comes to you. Well, for me, this is my 15-to-1 model on the low inside of a deep discount. Keep saying deep discount. I mean deep premium on the 15. Still anticipating higher prices. So this is where, utilizing the principles of X levels, you'd be looking for this to hold if you're looking for higher prices, right? For it to revert and take out the 15 higher. So for those inside red pill, mindful of crack gap. So this is why I'm anticipating us to just consolidate going into the open. I still want to see us open up into that crack gap. However, if we break out this low, I'll be moving to the sidelines. This is what you'd want to see if you're bullish. That's good news for your bullish, for your longs. So personally, my next trim is up at the M5 Prem. So up at 62, so 724. 724.50. I'm just going to go just below. And then my final positions are going to be up into 772, so essentially taking out the M5 SIBI high. So what happens after a 15-to-1 model? What are we going to anticipate, red pillars? What can you anticipate after a 15-to-1? So essentially this is the long. For those who aren't inside red pill, don't know what I'm talking about. Exactly, yeah. You said you wanted a 140-point stream on YouTube, Jamal, today, right? You wanted another one. We're going for it, brother. You asked. Don't call me the postman for nothing. So this is going up into a 1 minute premium. I'm personally holding to get through the 1 minute, just trading inside of a 15-to-1 model, so I'm anticipating the 1 minute to break. Anybody on YouTube capture this? Who's on YouTube today? Who we got on the old tubage? Anybody in YouTube not understand the context? We good? Are we good? We good. So this is your next partial. And then you're holding runners to the high. Day done. ADP. Thank you. Oosh. Get some. So for clarity, 15-to-1 model, alignment with a higher time frame X level when price hasn't fulfilled the objective on the high. So 15-to-1 model, we're going to pay ourselves inside of the 5-minute discount. This is a bearish dealing range. And we're going to hold runners to take out the 5-minute high. That's purely just model based. We've already trimmed inside of the old H1 to M5. Now we're just looking for it to come and take out the 1-minute high up into a 5-minute premium, at which point it can offset accumulate. Peeling one off here, so 50% of the 15. So I've got 2 contracts left, 3 contracts left, sorry. So let's take another one off inside of a 1-minute premium, which aligned with being 15-minute fair value. Context for a pullback. Don't want to weather it. So as a primary entry trader, you have to pay yourself early hold runners. All right, you scale out of your positions. So I'm a scaler. Max risk on the low. All right, so max risk, I should say, inside the 15-to-1 model, and then you scale out. Because you're a primary entry trader, a turtle soup trader, you have to be able to weather offset. So I always pay myself inside of X levels. All right. As price ranges back out through seeking inefficiencies in liquidity and price. So seeking inefficiencies, liquidity and price. Inefficiency. Get rid of this. Inefficiency. All right, so your next sensible thing to do is pay yourself inside this inefficiency. Protect yourself from a lower quad. Continuation model. M5. Yeah, if you want to, if you've earned and you learn, consider smashing a like. It's up to you though. There's no sweat off me back. Where you go, then the mask found. So that lower quad on the M5 comes in at 720. So that is going to be my next trim, which is going to be just below 5-minute prim. It's probably likely to go up to a mean threshold, but take the moolah. Appreciate it for those who've smashed a like. Much appreciated. What goes around comes around. You know how it is. You know how it is. So all of the context today was setting you up for a short, right? Being inside on the X levels, a high time frame premium across the board on every time frame. All right, being inside of here, you just wick the 15 as well. So a massive goddamn premium. So for me personally, I want to see ADP get into 780. We've left it open, right? So this lower quadrant, this M5 SIBI is left wide open. Right, so I don't chase price. If it doesn't hit my objective, I'm not going to chase it. I'm going to wait for price to set up an opportunity that makes sense that I can trade. Well, for me, 15-to-1 model, trade it back up into a 5-minute premium, take out the high from our higher time frame X level in alignment with our PD array. What's our PD array? 1 minute BISI with a 15-to-1 model. Simple. Now all we're doing is seeking inefficiencies and liquidity in price. That's all we're after. So inefficiencies and liquidity. As we range back out through the dealing ranges. So inefficiency, liquidity, and then the next inefficiency is between the 1 and the 5. And then liquidity is above the 5. So taking price from a premium to a discount, seeking inefficiencies and liquidity in price. Simple as that. No, that's not my vape. So for us, we want to see this burn short, so it's shorted early. For us longs, so I'm bullish bias until we get back up into this SIBI, or we crack this low. If we crack this low, I'll just be moving to the sidelines. That'll be my trade done. Be my morning done probably. So it's 50 points up into that little 1 minute SIBI. Let's see what we got on the 15 second. Still not even taking out the 15 second. Yeesh. Who on YouTube is back this morning? We got anybody? Very quiet on YouTube. For me, it's just a case of just letting it play out now. There's nothing else to do. You just got to let it play out. You can't choke it. There's no buck stop. This is... Your runners still have to be below the entry low. Could come all the way back down and stab deeper into this 1 minute BISI, it still wouldn't be invalid. Becomes invalid if it takes out 640. So you can argue it's a MAC TS up on the high, right, which gives you this extension. So 4 is left wide open. However, that high hasn't fulfilled anything for me. So again, for me, it's a trap on the high. i.e. it's not got high enough. So I'm half anticipating a deeper stab on this current hourly candle. How long have we got left in this hourly? 15 minutes. Yeah. Might be cutting it close if it does it in the next 15. Might be the next hourly candle. But be mindful of that OB on the hourly. This OB, which is essentially the continuation model. So you got to remember where an H1 to M15 to 1 model can fail is the 5-minute premium, where you've got context for the M5 continuation model here, right? So what would essentially be a MAC TS to drive it all the way back down to 636. Yeah. So if you're in this long, you have to pay yourself where it can fail 90% of your positions. I'm personally not going to be trading a MAC TS short because I still want to see this high go. However, I'm going to take the lion's share off at where it can fail, which is 5-minute prim. Yeah, so that SMT is a trap for me on the high. Beautiful entry, by the way, Jamal. Love that, mate. Got a better entry than me today. You bastard. Yep, that's it. That is indeed it. So which, for those who are just hopping on, we're in inside of a 15 to 1 model, looking to take it back up into a 5-minute premium in alignment with the model. Unfinished business up on the high, looking for ultimate objective to get back up into that M5 CB. So paying ourselves the lion's share where it can fail. So just scaling out our route as we're turtle soup traders, right? We trade the turtle soup. So as I mentioned this morning, I was looking for this liquidity to go to trade higher. It left the door open for us to come back into it for a 15 to 1 model, which is right this busy on the low. So now we're just looking to trade price back out through the dealing ranges. First target's 15 second, then the 1 minute, then the 5 minute. The 15 second is this high, which is 0775. So it's entirely up to you whether you want to trim literally 1 tick above that high. That'd be your next scale, which is your 15 seconds, then your 1 minute, then your 5-minute premium, and ultimately your 5-minute high is your final TP. All right. However, if we go to the M5, where this is where it can fail. So the 15 to 1 model can fail inside of a 5-minute prem. It's actually a discount because this is a bearish dealing range. So it can fail this discount side of this bearish dealing range for continuation, right? Flat bottom on the M5. Is it? Not quite. All right, so this is where it can fail at these right here, 719 or 732. So that's where I'm looking to take my line share off by, and then just holding runners take out the 5-minute high. You find me someone else out there who's giving you that precision today. Just one. Written at 4 a.m. this morning. I dare you. I double dares you. Here it is. Daily plan. This was written at 4 a.m. UTC, or just later than that. But during London. ADP data today. My bias. Looking for short or long. Subject to data. Key levels and plans. 21,790. Potential H1 to M5 also aligns with 21% on the X levels, right? So essentially right up here, 21%. And if it blows through that, 21,880, targeting a sweep, so a fill, so taking out the weekly high. That was my next objective. We take out that high, all right? Look, trade objectives, reversion back through the X fill. Dealing ranges, first target 21,658, second target 21,600, long-term objective, which is still a long-term objective of mine once we feel the objectives on the high is 21,134. Key point, if those highs aren't filled pre-data, on data, I'll be looking for longs to deliver those highs from the M1 BISI or weekly MT. M1 BISI is 21,658. This is written at 4 a.m. in the morning. M1 BISI at 21,658. Just trade the goddamn plan. I promise you. So none of this jack shit interest. I'm looking to short here. I was looking to long here. Or looking to long all the way back down in here. Right? If this objective hadn't been filled. So on data, we did not fulfill that objective on the high, did we? No. So there is no trade. There is no forcing a trade. There is no trying to chase a breaker block for continuation. No. We're going to wait for price to come into us and find a new entry to trade to our original objective. We don't flip-flop. All right, don't flip-flop our bias. All right, our bias is our bias until we're proved wrong. So there was your break on the 15-second. I remember if I said if you wanted to, you could have just trimmed a position one tick above the 15-second high, which was this high right here. What did we go and do? We go and tag the 15-second high by one tick and a pullback. Right? This is learning how to scale out of your positions. There's your 15, 1 minute, 5 minute. You're scaling out. Okay, and all you're doing is seeking inefficiencies in liquidity and price. All right, well, right here on the 1 minute is your inefficiency, liquidity. Inefficiency on the 5 minute, 5 minute liquidity. As we go back out through our dealing ranges from our higher time frame point of interest in alignment with our model with volatility support around a macro. Jamal, how do you need sleep, bro? It's like 9 o'clock in the morning. How do you need sleep? Ay. Well, I can only imagine, dude. Honestly, I can imagine. Okay, fair enough. I'll let you off. I'll let you off, dude. Invite them to Red Pill, dude. I'll help change their lives if they want. So 21,719 is the next trim. 21,719.50. 21,719.50, and then your last position is for the lower quad of the 7.5 Sibe. Jamal, I'm getting the 140 points that you asked for, dude. I'm going for it. So that's going to take us up to pretty much bang on if it goes to target. So my sweet spot, if you were reading my Twitter post recently, is around 1 to 2 hours for a trade to deliver, right? So we're currently in our trade for, well, how long have we been in this puppy now? Half an hour? All right, so I know that it can take up to an hour to 2 hours for it to deliver to my target. This is my sweet spot, right? So at this stage, I'm not bothered, right? I'm not sat here flustered going, if buts, maybes, yada yada yada, right? It takes time for price to deliver range. Of course, it can do it in a 5-minute candle, deliver you over 100 points, but 9 times out of 10, it's going to take you over an hour, between an hour and 2 hours. So you got to have patience. Jamal, I love those YouTube reels. I'll turn this one into a reel as well. I'll give you a shout out, Jamal. There you go, mate. You'll get a shout out on the YouTube now. What have I done with it? There it is. Oh, sorry, guys. I honestly wasn't reading your YouTube messages. I was doing Discord. Sorry. Auto Edge, bagged, 90 pointer, get some. E, just with the thumbs up. He's not a talker, is he? Big Arch. Yeah, Bush. Trump he calls out 100 points moves. What? What? Good morning, afternoon, as the case may be. It is currently the afternoon. It's 2 o'clock where I am, dude. Yeah, it's 2 o'clock. Which I genuinely believe, if you're a futures trader, is the best time zone in the world. Possibly the worst country to live in. But without a shadow of a doubt, the best hours to trade the futures market, the American futures market. But yeah, it is a dog shite country. Do you hear that, Starmer? The country is shite, mate. Sort it out. That may be true. It is 4 p.m. where I'm living, so no complaints. So you're 2 hours ahead. So what? You must be what? Spain, Portugal, something like that. Just gonna test my geography now. Oh. Oh. It's not bad. Not too bad. My first ever girlfriend, Zamuliuscu, was Romanian. She was a handful. May call me Paul. Are you guys on drugs today? What are you not talking about? One guy talking about Trump 1,000-point moves. Another guy saying, May call me Paul. Call you whatever you want, mate. Oh, you're being polite. We need a new name for Zimilusku. Anyone got any ideas? Paul's just not going to stick, brother. Sorry to say. But Paul is just not going to stick. I think Zemu's quite good. I like Zemu. Not yet, brother. This kind of is an indication of what I'm in at the moment. $19s. Fucking what, like 2,000 points away? He's like, you better give me 2,000 points or I'm out of there. Well, I'm not. This stream is shite. Oh, yeah. 719. Yes, sir. Absolutely. 719. You can pay yourself here if you want. At the 1 minute high, double top. It's up to you. You're just basically scaling out on route to terminus. But I want the lower quad. So I'm looking at just below it. So 719, yes, sir. Which would be where it can fail, right? So 15 to 1 model where this pappy can fail is the 5 minute premium. I've all given you warning. So if it rejects, you've not paid yourself. Can't do nothing about it. So if you want my current trade, this is my current trade. All right, this is what I'm in. So 63, pay myself. Got one out 79, 950, and then one more for the M5 high. You with me? Are we all singing off the same hymn sheet? Jamal, what happened with the trade yesterday, bro? The one where you had to go and have an appointment with the sun. What? You're in at 700? The fuck are you doing? Bro, come on. That's dog shite. Just going to be honest with you. I'm not going to beat around the bush and just be nicey. It's a horrible entry. Not only is it a whole site number, well, dangerously or stupidly, or both. Depends if you're a scalper or not. If you're a scalper, it's, I guess you could find scalps at that level to get involved with it, but I'm not a scalper, so. So Jamal, yesterday you closed it and saw it reach the target in the sun, but nowadays I'm okay. To a 23.5 markets to trade learn lesson. Yes, sir. I like to hear it, Jamal. I like to hear it. Dangerously stupid. I hope you get it, Zimu. I hope it doesn't offset on you. I hope it doesn't. But do you understand this entry? Do you understand why that level? Or are you just following on because you know I'm in the trade? Oh. Alright. Snooze, you lose. So the psyche I would have with, if I was in your trade, dude, if I was in at 700, you'd be basing on the principle that you earn and looking for price to drive back through 21,700. So essentially just screwing over those who are trying to short. But it's I'm telling you now, it's a grim entry. Okay, then. So I've just got 2 contracts left. I've got 1 contract for the lower quad, which is 19. And then I've got 1 runner for the high to deliver the final terminus, and then which is where I'm anticipating a pullback to happen. Keeping a mindful of the cracked gap red pillars at the open. So on YouTube, we've got Steve was in the trade. We've got E, by the assumes of it, was in the trade. Not sure about Big Arch. Don't know what's going on with Big Arch. Did anyone else catch it on YouTube? Let's see who's got the best entry. I think you're going to struggle to beat Jamal's entry, if I'm honest with you. So, if you, in fact, you can only match his entry. So Jamal got 21,655.50. You got the very swing low. That's the kind of precision we trade with, guys. Love to see it. Better entry than me today, Jamal, mate. Love that. So I was in at 63.50. Zimu, checked your website, looks quite nice. I intend to join mid-June, depending on my revenue. Yeah, I'm here whenever you need, bro. There's no forced sell on my side. You either do or you don't. Brother free, driving and watching only. Sensible. Sensible. Has anyone ever been pulled for trading whilst driving? Imagine trying to explain that to a copper. Yeah, give us a couple of minutes, mate. Just trying to get to the lower quad of my M5 Cibi. Fuck's sake. Give us a break. Yeah. Right up the ticket. It's all good. Right up the ticket. Come on. Yeah, I mean, God knows why you were trading 700 long. Zimu, you deserve that loss, brother. I'm not going to lie to you. You're forcing it. If you miss an entry, you miss a trade entry, and you want to trade the way that I trade, which is turtle soups, you have to wait for a new opportunity. So if you want to improve your risk management, and my average is currently sat at 74%, and you want a monstrous risk to reward, this risk to reward is currently 7-1, you cannot be a chaser. You cannot chase price. And so with that, you have to have immense discipline and patience to allow price to come to you, right? Those are like the cornerstones that you need to be a turtle soup trader. Then you need to learn how to scale out properly. If that isn't you, like you just want to trade fucking anything, right? Or you just want to be a scalper. Some people are predisposed to be a scalper. Like they're agitated. They're like nervous people, right? They're agitated, right? They just like shit to be quick, right? They like to be in the markets the whole time. Trading range isn't going to be for you. For trading range, you got to be unbelievably calm and patient and super chill. And then it takes at least 2 hours for price to deliver to your target. How long have we been in this now? So I know my sweet spot is between 1 and 2 hours, right? Scalpers can't operate in that mindset, right? They'll get in and they just want to be out within 5 minutes. Like it's not going to happen. So you got to work out where are you best sat as a personality. Are you best suited as a scalper? Well, if that's the case, I'm not a scalper, bro, so I'm probably not the best trader to learn from. Because your style isn't going to suit my style. Like your personality isn't going to suit my style of trading. However, if you are a scalper, but your makeup is more inclined to be a range trader, which is what I am, then you're currently trading the wrong thing. You shouldn't be scalping. Right? So if you find yourself trying to scalp, but you're actually a chill dude and you're getting frustrated, that's simply because you don't know where to enter. Right? You don't have a framework to trade from to be able to trade range. Right? And that's a different topic. That can be taught. You can be taught, I should say. Right? But if you're a scalper and you're predisposed to be a scalper, I keep saying predisposed. Who says that? If you're a scalper and you're predisposed to be a scalper, just stay a scalper. All right, just because you see me taking ridiculously big trades doesn't mean you have to. All right. Okay. Does what I'm saying make sense though? Because it's super important. Because I started, like, if I'm being honest with you, I started as pretty much as a scalper, but I wasn't made up to be a scalper. I didn't enjoy it. I didn't actually like what I was doing. Back in the days, if you've read my book, I was a penny stock trader. Like, that is literally the ultimate of scalping. Like, I come from a scalping background. Right? But I fucking hated it. Right? And there was a reason for it, because it didn't suit me. So it took me years to find something that suited me personally. And then as soon as that clicked, it was like, okay, well, the rest is history, right? So it's a big thing, dude. Sometimes you land in where you want to be straight away. Like sometimes you'll just land in an options and you're a scalper. Like if you're a scalper and you trade you're a day trader and you like to scalp, like I'd say options are probably good for you. Like go and learn off an options trader. Like someone who just scalps options off the open. I could give you a few names. Right. Sometimes you'll land in futures, you'll meet a swing trader and you're a scalper and you'll be like, oh, that doesn't quite fit either. And then all of a sudden you'll find something which just works. Right? It's a round peg in a round hole and you're like, fuck yeah, I can deal with that. I can learn from that. So, you know, if you're bouncing around mentorships and what have you, it's probably personality driven versus the actual approach. Make sense? Anyway, I wish you all the best in the world and I wish you luck. And if you do join Red Pill, welcome to the other side, brother. So for me, if I was trading, like, just for hindsight, right? Well, it's not even hindsight. If I was doing you, right, and I was going off 700, wherever you going, I have no idea where you're going. Like, my stop at this point would literally still have to be down here, right? And 90% of my position would have to come off there. You're trading a negative risk to reward. Like, that's just disgusting. There's things which we have inside of RP which define when you can move your stop. There isn't that in here. So your stop can't move. So there's nothing stopping price running back in here. This still doesn't invalidate it for me. Right? So entering in here is just fucking loody. Like, it just, like, that whole principle of, like, this style of trading. Like, if you were doing this and you're not scaling out, for example, like this kind of shit that I see all over Twitter. Oh, man. Good luck if they're profitable. Chances are they're not. What are we rejecting? Is this no? Yeah, so let's see. That's how long we got till the open. We got just under 15 minutes, I should say, till the open. So still got 2 contracts left. As I've mentioned before, if we're going to fail, we're going to fail this M5 Cibi. Let's go and drive out the low. However, it can also come down into our target, which is where we're looking to take our next trim and offset accumulate. So it comes all the way back down into an M5 discount. All right, which is essentially, well, it's actually a premium because it's a bearish DR, but you know what I mean. So essentially all the way back down into that. For us to then continue higher to come and drive out this high. Okay. So inside of here, 90% of my position is off, and I hold lambs to slaughter for my final objective because I know that it can fail here, and it can also offset accumulate from here. Right, so I pay myself where my models can fail. Right, you with me? That's why my consistency is so goddamn high, because I know how to pay myself where things can fail. So essentially the same principle if we were looking at a sell day, right? So if this was going to turn into a sell day profile, we've now got a new M session reversal. Well, this is our sweep pre-830, right? So we're going to go boom, boom. We're going to go look for a premium. We're going to short the fuck, right? So paying myself where it can fail is key. Is key to your long-term consistency and profitability, but learning how to scale. What's up, Ains? How's it going, dude? Alright, there you go. So there's your next trim, right? So you should just have one contract left now. Just going for the M5 high. Right up here. You're going to have to potentially sit through the open. Ideally, it does it before the open, but if it can offset accumulate from here, right? So essentially all the way back down into a 5 minute. So we can come all the way back down in here. Still does not invalidate it for me. Okay, but it's a lamb to slaughter. 95% of my position is now off, right? So if you want to have a look at my trade, this is my trade execution. Okay, so 63.50 out at 80.50, 92, 702, 719. Final position 772. You with me? All right, so it can come all the way back down into here, and I don't care. Like, it can come and take out my runner, I don't care. Like, I'm paid, right? I know that this is where it can fail. All right? I know this is where it can fail. I know it's where it can fail. So I'm okay with that. However, my objective is to still come and fulfill my daily objective, which is to take out this high. Does that make sense? It's a big mindset shift. Knowing where price can fail and paying yourself there is massively important for trade management. Hey, you're welcome, Jamal. Good stuff, buddy. Well done, mate. One and done. Gracias. Anybody on YouTube holding runners? Who we got? Who's left on YouTube? Who we got? Anybody? Who's holding through this? Who's holding through on the open with me? Yes! Yes, 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 yes. Give us a Y in chat if you're in this trade. Can't just be Steve. Surely not. Oh, there you go, Steve. Cooking, mate. He is cooking. Cooking on gas, brother. Chat in Discord. Let's have a look. You entered short predator. You savage. You absolute savage. So this is an entry if you think you can beat it. If you think you can beat that entry, right there. 655.50. What else do you get, Jamal? 669.25. Lovely stuff. Lovely stuff. Beautiful. Mm-hmm. 2 seconds. Just need the toilet, guys. 1 sec. I'm back. How long have we got? 4 minutos. So if you got in on the low as per the daily plan, so if you read the daily plan this morning, you've taken over 70 points out of the market so far. Final TP for me is up at 72. So 15-1 model here. That's all it is. That's the man I used to be. I used to be. So my points of interest on the high is going to be a fill on this SIBI, and then beyond that's 880. So if we take out this high, it's going all the way up to 880. However, once it completes a 15-1, you'd anticipate a pullback. So as I mentioned before, keeping an eye on the crack gap on NDX when we open up. Pardon me, sir. So there's absolutely nothing to do here bar just holding your position. It's a lamb to slaughter. every day, brother. London and New York. Trading is my job. That's the difference, right? So I trade. Nothing to do but hold. Nothing. You're not chasing it. You're not doing anything. If you're not in it, I'll boo-boo. It's a boo-boo. If you can sit there and you're not in it, you're gaining far more from it than forcing a trade that you don't understand. I promise you that. Come on, final little push. Giss it. Please do not chase it. I've just got my runner one tick above this candle high on the M5, right? So as we were talking about, seeking inefficiencies and liquidity as price moves back out through the X level dealing ranges, seeking the 15 second, the 1 minute, and the 5 minute liquidity, seeking the inefficiency between the 1 and the 5, and the liquidity between the low and the 1, right? Sorry, the inefficiency between the 1 and the low as well. So inefficiencies, liquidity, inefficiency, liquidity. And the 15 to 1 is designed to get above the 5 minute high. So literally one tick above it, and that's gonna be me. I'm not gonna fight over what 5 points. Well, what I mean, 140 odd point on this contract, something like that. So here, this morning, if those highs aren't filled on data, I'll be looking for longs to deliver to those highs from the M1 BISI or weekly MT, right? The weekly BISI, the M1 BISI is 21,658. That was written during London. So I've just sat patient and waited for this level. There you go, day done, boxed. Congrats for those who caught it. There is my trade. 21,663.50 scaled out all the way to our final objective. A bish bash bosh. Over 100 points. All right. Bilbo Baggos. depends on the trade. What I'm seeking for a daily goal. Yada yada. What my risk is. But yeah. My max is like 5, but I take that on MNQ and I scale out. I very rarely do that. I did that on Friday. I took 30 MNQs on Friday. But I rarely do that. I only do that when it's absolutely nailed on. So it all comes down to risk, how confident I am in the trade, all that sort of stuff. I don't use fixed stuff, like, you know, all that shit. I just have a fixed TP when I get a fixed stop loss and a minimum 3 to 1 R. That's the only parameter that I work within, and I just manage risk accordingly. So if we're going to pull back, we're going to pull back from here. The next objective is 880. So essentially a fill on this SIBI is what I'd anticipate if it is going to pull back. But I'm done. That's me. So grats if you got it. Somebody stop me. There's your fill. What was I doing? I was doing something. That was it. Hey. I'm getting old, guys. I'm getting old. Going senile. So yeah, 880 would be my next area of interest. Let's have a look. So that high right there would have to hold for lower prices. So this very high, if we're going to reject here, has to and get a pullback. So essentially you'd be looking for a break of 1 into 5 discount, all right? So essentially you'd be looking for this lows go. It's down at 731. So this high has to hold here if we're going to go run out this low and go on a bit of a sell-off. So that was the mitigation that we were talking about before. All right, so this was my original target from this morning. So the opposite is now short here. Stop above that high. But you got to scale out en route. So it's the same process. So underneath the 1 minute, 5 minute, and just scale out en route. If you're trading off this high, you're anticipating us to go on an absolute sell-off right now. You're anticipating this to be your high. So again, same thing, you're paying yourself inside of a discount, holding runners, looking for inefficiencies, liquidity and price as we now range back out. There's no real inefficiencies in here apart from one we've just tapped into right there. You'd be looking for this to go. This is an immediate rebalance, but there's an immediate rebalance up to our high, so I'll be looking at this low. If your price is going to range higher, it's going to hold this low. But essentially, remember, if you're trading a 15 to 1, you're anticipating a pullback after it delivers. So essentially that's your pullback. So from here, you're just literally just holding runners if you wanted to trade through, back out through the dealing ranges. Man lost in the windstorm. My body gone. About bad working anymore. Said one of these days nose on the grindstone out of the hills. I just walk the same mission. Right, YouTube. That's my day done. So just the long. So grass if you caught it. Really good stuff. If you blow through this high, you're looking for 880. Right? Don't do anything until 880. Okay? If he goes through this high. Alright? Well, that's going to be it for me on YouTube today. So nice little 100+ point trade on ADP. Alright? Until next time, trade safe, trade smart. Yeah, bosh. Take it easy, guys.